A few years ago, I started making videos about mental health. Since I couldn't fit in, like probably never in my life, I still tried to find where I belong. And I thought that I was schizotypal. I mean, I'm not, but I have schizotypal traits. And I made a video about STPD, Schizotypal Personality Disorder, which attracted quite a lot of people and a lot of weird people, because schizotypal are often weird. So, but I couldn't find myself among these people. Talking to them made me understand that I'm also very different, and I kept searching where I belong, and the answer is I belong to myself. Okay, so but I made a video, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, and lots of people started texting me, and including a lot of men, and I felt as if I was like the queen of weirdos. And yeah, I'm kind of doing the same now. And since I'm interested in therapy, but I don't have a license because I never studied therapy in university, I wanted to do like mentorship or mental health advocating. So, and I started talking to people a lot. Sometimes I had mentorship sessions with men who had, or they thought that they had STPD, and we talked, and they shared some amount of problems in their life which are somehow connected to schizotypal personality disorder, but not only. And often I thought, like, oh my god, like, what are you talking about? You're just a sub. For example, I had a guy who was telling me how he struggled in his life because also he couldn't fit in, but because of all these gender stereotypes, he thought that maybe he had a gender dysphoria. And then we talked more, and I told him that you should check Femdom. Like, he never heard about that. But okay, so the problem was that he couldn't express himself like, you know, like this real brutal man, which is unnecessary, which is, I still don't get it, why people keep living these stereotypes. I believe that a masculine man is a man who serves a woman properly, okay? Also, one of the main outcomes of magical thinking, or maybe actually that's the reason of magical thinking, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but it's great, rich imagination. So you can imagine things and you can live through them in your head, which is great for Femdom, because Femdom is a role play. So one of my subs was my knight and I was his queen. So the other one, he was serving me like as if it was Middle Ages and he was at the edge of death, or because he believed in goddess and he served goddess, and like cruel church just executed him. Or then I like to be pagan goddess, yeah, and I like to sacrifice my slaves. So, and this is great. And Femdom, and I mean just BDSM in general, but since I do Femdom, I'm talking about Femdom. It's a great space for expressing your fantasies and your imagination. This is so much more interesting to work with neurodivergent subs, with those who have like a shifted perception of the reality. Like for me, that's a pleasure. This is where I find the purpose. This is where I find my own fun, because I'm so much more engaged when the other person does co-creation of the scene. This is just beautiful. Another important trait of people with STPD is that they are a little bit autistic. That's why these disorders are often confused. Yeah, because schizotypal person cannot easily fit in. they're like outsiders. They don't really talk to many people, and they actually get along with other people with schizotypal traits. So I'm not even saying that we're a perfect match, yeah, because I have some of these traits. But also, when you are with a good dom who cares for you, not only for taking your money, yeah, you get the feeling of belonging. You feel like you're not alone. There is someone who can accept you, because you can show her the weakest sides of yours, all sides of yours, usually those sides that are not accepted by others. Like, this is why they cannot be with people, because people don't understand them. They just don't, because schizotypals, they are like aliens a little bit. But in Femdom, you can do whatever you want. I mean, obviously not whatever you want, but you can obviously incorporate your awkwardness, your weirdness into the scene. One more thing that people with STPD often experience is derealization and dissociation. And with this, to get back you to the reality, Femdom really helps. Okay, because that's not only a sexual practice, it also reminds me of some extreme sport where you have to concentrate, you have to be in the moment. No, actually I need to rephrase it. You don't have to concentrate, it will just happen naturally. Schizotypal people are often in their own head, they have some unusual bodily experiences, they believe in aliens, they believe in magic and witches and past and future lives and everything. And this is great. This is just perfect material for a play, because Femdom includes a lot of drama. Yes, drama. I mean, you have to act. Even if that's not complete acting, because what is acting? Yeah, you take out a part of what you are, so, and you live through it. And here it's the same, like no one is going to understand you, but your dom, she's supposed to. Also, if we talk about men with STPD, since they lack communication skills, I mean, that's like they can be good at this. That's not what I mean. It's just they might be too complicated for other people, and because of this they cannot really approach others, because they know that they are going to be misunderstood. So also they can be awkward and shy and, like, you know, these little weirdos, and approaching a woman is difficult, like, because you're not gonna behave like this alpha male representative of humanity, because this is not what you are. And even if you tried, that probably failed, because that's not you. You are a little nerd, okay? So who lives in his own world, and you probably have no experience talking to women. Like, doesn't matter how old you are. And a dominant woman who knows what she does is your perfect match. Is someone who is going to educate you, someone who is going to teach you how to talk to women, how to please a woman, how to be more like yourself, because you have to learn how to express yourself. Obviously, people with STPD have a lot of anxiety, but how and why do we get anxiety, and mainly social anxiety, is when we know that we have some particular traits, yeah, and when we go to talk to people, we try to hide it, we try to suppress it, because we know that they are not going to accept us, they are going to judge us, yeah, if we behave in a certain way, like if we present ourselves as like the way we are, so they are not going to accept us. And you are so scared of this, you suppress some parts of yours, and it brings so much pressure. Yeah, you cannot handle this, and then your body reacts with anxiety. So with SCPD plus Femdom, you can learn how to stay yourself in social situations, because Femdom is a playground. And I mean, there are so many other playgrounds, like drama class. I just love drama so much. Like drama class, and there are like group therapy, where you can learn how to express yourself, so then it goes easier with other people in social situations. Usually schizotypal boys are not popular at school at all. They were often bullied because they were strange, and kids can be quite cruel. Yeah, I actually get messages still, like even if I don't post anything or on that YouTube channel about mental health, I still get messages, including from teenagers, from male teenagers who have STPD or autism, and they tell me how they get bullied at school. I hate it. You know what I want to do? I just want to come to school with them as if I'm their girlfriend. So everyone would just shut up. The word disorder means that something doesn't go in the order we are used to. It doesn't mean that you are bad or that you are sick. That's not an illness. Yeah, schizophrenia is an illness, but you can even live with schizophrenia too. But autism and STPD, it just means that you are different from others, but you do not bring harm to others. And how do we see all these issues? Like, people teach them how to adapt to our world. But is that right? Why don't we try to adapt to them? I mean, obviously, if that's not the majority, yeah, that sounds wrong, because they have to adapt to the majority. But is the majority right? Because usually the majority is not the smartest part of population. These labels, autistic, schizotypal, weirdo, nerd, strange, they only show that you see things differently, that you have some interesting peculiarities of your character, that you are an unusual person who deserves their own place in this world. But I know that for lots of you, this is hard to work. This is hard to get your own finances. Because I've talked, like, the most amount of people I talked to who had STPD and autism, they struggled with money. Because that's, I mean, when you lack social skills, when you cannot adapt, when you cannot communicate properly with people, or I would say they cannot communicate with you, so then you just close all the doors. This is hard, but you have to keep trying. Otherwise, how are you going to pay for Femdom? Okay, I'm joking. That's a joke. Please don't send me your comments that you are trying to get the money from the poorest people in the world. No, that's not my goal. You can find a woman who's into that and who's not a professional dominatrix. You don't have to give your last money to a dom you saw online. Yeah, when you just listened to my words and you probably thought, okay, let me find her. Do not spend the last money on Femdom. First, get your finances together. First, get your life together. And after that, think about serving a woman. After that, I mean, even if you are not rich and you still want to get into Femdom, think twice before studying and think how much actually you are able to spend. Because yeah, it can work well for you, but maybe it's not gonna help you at all. You may try, you may not, but please be careful, because when you have some particular traits about your mind, you have to be very careful about who you speak to. Because I know that this type of people I'm talking about, they can be also naive. And there are, I mean, even if we can say, oh yeah, we don't feel sorry for men, like that's their responsibility. Some men are not like other men. Some men are like still children. They still don't understand this world, and that's somehow connected to how their mind works. And they don't have to be horny in order to switch off their brain. So that's not about that. So that's also my message to doms. Yeah, if you see that there's some naive nerd guy, don't try to get the most from him. Yeah, because they might be struggling a lot. And as always, my goal, one of the main goals of everything I do, is to make people who feel weird and unaccepted feel more accepted. And I will see you in my next video.